And here we go.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Mike from the Super Wheeler Bros, and welcome back for another review of The Walking Dead Season 7. This time we're tackling Episode 12, entitled Say Yes. Tonight, on The Boring Dead. Nothing fucking happens. Again. Alright. So we did have some good things happen. We did return to some semblance of above mediocrity. But let me get this out of the way. It seems like the showrunners of The Walking Dead are intent on dragging this out as long as humanly possible, and it is really starting to get on my nerves. As much as I love seeing Rick and Michonne laugh and have fun and bang again, and bang one more time. As much as I really enjoy that, the only interesting thing being presented these days on The Walking Dead is Negan. Now, I don't know if that's because he's just a charming MFer, or he's just a great actor, or the character just seems to be something different from what we've gotten in years past, but even Rick and Michonne's story is a snooze fest. I expect more from you, Walking Dead. I really do. After last week, I was really disappointed. I was hoping we would get back to some real excitement. And I'll tell you what, if you hadn't done the manipulative thing again for like the umpteenth time, maybe I'd be on board. Maybe. At this point, who in God's name thinks Rick's gonna die? Not me. Not anybody that watches this show. He's the lead character. He's the only one that seems to ever have a three-dimensional character. At all times. He's always changing. He's ever evolving. He always has a new arc. And here we are, and even Rick's not being interesting right now, and it's because of how we're telling our story. We are dragging it out to excruciating lengths, and we're not making any progress. There is no reason that they have decided to go to war with Negan, and that it should take another 8 episodes. There will be no war with Negan until the finale, and that is a fact. That is what is going to happen. Also, we aren't utilizing, once again, some of our best actors in our show. Melissa McBride, Lenny James. Why have they only been in like 3 episodes this season? Why? I don't understand. There is so much story that can be told by weaving these stories together and telling them all at the same time, and not skipping from episode to episode with character to character. It would have even made this filler episode that did have some great moments near the end seem more important. For the first half hour, nothing happened. Rick and Michonne laughed. They boned. Great. Sweet. I'm glad that we don't know how to keep a consistent tone. It doesn't make any sense with how we've been telling the story this season. It's been dark and grim, and while I'm okay with us having some laughs, and I'm okay with there being some levity added to the proceedings, we've got a really uneven tone. It's all over the place. It is... I can't even explain what's happening, because we don't know what we're doing with this show anymore. It's not that it was a bad episode. There's some great moments in there. Absolutely fantastic moments. Minus the slow build-up and the really stupid manipulation that we try to play off in order to make Michonne feel some resonance. It's okay to make her believe. Still manipulate the audience as well. It's okay. You know what? I'll even give that a little bit of a pass, just because it led to a really emotional scene in the van after it happened. I thought the carnival was cool. I I love that our characters are so confident that they can go after this horde of walkers in this carnival to get these guns because they know they need them without having backup. I love that. Great, great stuff. I also loved the fact that they were having fun in the middle of it because there has been some heavy-handed stuff this season. Totally understand. Having some levity is good. The real good stuff didn't happen until the end of the episode. And that is when Rick is explaining to Michonne that they have to be stronger than what they've been. They have to be able to move past losing each other, if that is the case, because it's bigger than them right now. They are working towards the future, and that is what is important. Not worrying about losing each other, because that gets people killed. I loved the scene where Rick explains about Glenn, that he saved Rick, that Glenn was able to be there for him right at the beginning, and he wasn't able to save Rick. That was a good emotional beat. There wasn't enough of those this episode. I love Rick. I love Andrew Lincoln as Rick. I think that he's great. I also think that Danai Gurira as Michonne is fantastic. This episode, focusing on probably 2 out of the 3 fan favorites on the show, would have led to something great, and it just was boring. Actually, Alana Masterson as Tara probably had the most important arc, and it's finally allowing for that just absolutely putrid episode that she was in involving Oceanside to finally have a little bit of resonance, because she's having a hard time deciding whether or not to include her group in the knowledge of knowing that Oceanside has a lot of guns. And that's actually an interesting dynamic. So let's see what happens with that. Also, the Scavengers, interesting group. Man, they're annoying. They're really annoying. So I'll be glad if they're used very, very sparsely throughout the rest of this season. I'll be happy. There was some really good stuff to chew on in this episode, but it was not the episode I was looking for to recover from last week. And you know what? Looking back on it in hindsight, last week's episode had a lot of intriguing elements that I was really hard on, and this one was straight filler almost all the way through. And last week's episode probably should have been taken up a tick or two, and this one should probably be down a tick or two from what I initially thought. If I'm going to score this week's episode of The Walking Dead, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Just a really middling episode. Even with our 2 main protagonists left in Alexandria, this was just a very mediocre episode. Great stuff at the end, but 40 minutes worth of build-up was not worth what we got by the end of the episode. It just wasn't. Next week does prove to be interesting, with Carol seeming to be back in semi-badass mode. I love Carol. I think Melissa McBride is absolutely outstanding, and I can't wait to see what next week does hold. I'm usually a pretty big optimist when it comes to pretty much everything, especially this show. I've forgiven a lot more than a lot of people that I know, even personally, have forgiven on this show, and I'm willing to see where it'll take me in hopes that we have just a barnstorm of a finale. I hope it's spectacular. Tell me what you thought of this week's episode of The Walking Dead in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button. It really helps us out. If you enjoy reviews like this and videos of this kind, definitely hit the subscribe button. Join us and be an honorary Wheeler Bro. My name is Mike from the Super Wheeler Bros, and as always, my friends, have yourselves a super week.